Hello everyone, this is the first in what I hope to be a series of how-to videos for my YouTube channel, Razor's Edge. This is my 2015 RZR 900. Today I'm going to be installing some upgrades in the form of high clearance front A-arms. These come from ORB. They're the only ones I could find that kept the front geometry of the Razor the same as factory. It has a factory caster and camber settings as well as the wheelbase. Keeping the factory geometry on the A-arms for me was important because having a 4-seat Razor, the machine's wheelbase is long enough already. I did not need it extended. The wheel wells are large enough to accommodate 30-inch tires even when turning full lock to lock and when the springs are fully compressed. So there was no need to extend the wheelbase. It's pretty good right where it is, but it did need some additional clearance under the A-arms. Looking up at the bottom of these factory arms, you can see where they're getting all scratched up. This one even has a nice dent in the tube right here, probably from a rock. The high clearance arms will get these up and out of the way to give you much more clearance in ruts and also to keep from coming in contact with objects in the trail or even the trail itself. I have a skid plate under here from factory UTV. This little nose piece that wraps around the front of the machine is blocking this bolt, so I won't be able to slide it out to remove the front A-arm. So this front piece is going to have to come off. Taking those two bolts out should be enough. All I have to do is just pull it down far enough in order to be able to pull this bolt out to free the A-arm. The next step is to remove the front wheel to give me easier access to the pinch bolt that holds the ball joint into the front hubs. I only use power tools for disassembly on my machine. I don't use it to assemble it because it's just too easy to tear things up. Especially with an impact wrench. The next step is to remove the pinch bolt that keeps the ball joint connected to the bottom of the hub here. Alright, with the nut off, you just slide this bolt out. It should come out pretty easy. If not, you might need to tap on the bottom or the top of the A-arm to take the pressure off the bolt. You just kind of have to wiggle it out and out it comes. Now I take a rubber hammer or something similar and just tap the A-arm and knock it out of the bottom of the hub. There we go. Now the lower A-arm is free. All you have to do is take these two bolts out and the arm will come off. You just have to work the arm a little bit to get that bolt to slide out, or you could take a screwdriver or something and pry on it to help get it out. Pull this skid plate piece out of the way, and the bolt is free. Now to remove the other one. again, just move the arm around, just take pressure off the bolt until it comes out. And then the arm is off. I'm going to reuse the factory bushings because they're still in great shape. I didn't need to replace them. So I'm just going to carefully twist and remove them without damaging them, so I can insert them into the new arms. I'm also removing the grease fittings from these arms because I'll have to install them into the new ones. Okay. I'm also going to be reusing the factory ball joint because it is in fine shape, nothing wrong with it. Next, I'm going to remove the snap ring from the factory ball joint. Easily done. And then I'm going to press this ball joint out of the factory arm so it can also be reused. I have a collection of sockets up here on my little hydraulic press I use for various things, wheel bearings, ball joints. This is a 1 5/16" 3/4 drive, and it fits perfectly over the ball joint to give it a nice surface to press it out. Just get it lined up and press. And it is free. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to press the ball joint into the new A-arm. Make sure we're coming in it from the right side. Get it lined up, centered under the press. And then we'll just press it in. Before it gets too far, I want to check that everything is free, nothing is in a bind. Got plenty of room. Looks good to go. You can do this with a hammer and a table and a vise or something similar, but that makes it very difficult. And you could damage the ball joint pretty easily. Having something like this little press here will make a huge difference. This little thing wasn't but, I don't know, $100 from Harbor Freight, but it works really well. I'll just reinstall the snap ring, making sure it seats properly. Okay, there we go. Now I'll install the original grease fittings. One thing you want to do with these is make sure that they tighten up at the right spot. You want it facing the right direction when they tighten up so that you can have access to them, but you also don't want to strip them out. And that worked out just right. If the first time you do put it in, it doesn't line up just right, you can take it back out and rotate it a little bit around from its starting position and try again and see if you can't get it to seat at a better angle for you. Alright, that works. You're going to want to clean these bushings up a little bit before you put them back into the A-arms. Get all the excess grease and the grit and the grime off of them. Unless you're using new ones, then you won't have to really worry about cleaning them up because those should already be clean. Now before tapping these bushings in, you're going to want to separate them into 3 pieces so you don't accidentally gouge one trying to put them back together in one piece. We put one side in, and we put the other side in, and then we put the pin in. Now if these were new, you'd want to grease them before you reassembled it, just to help with assembly and help keep from gouging the bushings with the pin as it goes in. Well, these are already pretty good and greasy, so there wasn't no need in it. Alright, so now we're going to wiggle the arm into position. Insert the bolts. Okay. Now we'll do the front bolt. Attach the nut. Now before tightening anything up, we want to go ahead and put this ball joint back up into the hub. Alright, slid right in, no problem. Alright, now we're going to insert the bolt, and you have to just push the arm around until it gets into the right spot where the bolt goes through the groove in the ball joint. And then we attach that nut. So all we have to do now is tighten everything up. All I'm going to do at this point is just snug it up with the air ratchet, and then I'll come back with my torque wrench and properly torque all these bolts. Now that the bolts on this side are snugged up, step back, take a look at the difference, and that's what a difference that is. Look at that. The amount of clearance gained on the passenger side where the ORB arm is just tremendous compared to the original. That ought to keep her out of the ruts for sure. The diameter of this material is greater, the wall thickness of the tubing is thicker. It's the color is matched great. It blends right in with the factory arms. It is a very, very nice product. Now I'm gonna pull out my service manual, check the torque specs, and torque these bolts down. Alright, here is the master torque table in the service manual, which is conveniently located on my smartphone. We can see right here, A-arm mounting fasteners, 42 foot-pounds. Ball joint fasteners, also 42 foot-pounds. Well, that makes it pretty easy. Here's my 3/8 torque wrench, setting it to 42 pounds, which is right there. Put on my 15mm socket, get my 15mm buck-in wrench, and torque these bolts. Alright, so that is the arm installed. Now it's at full droop, so that should be about as close as it's going to get to anything. So we'll rotate the hub and check for clearance. Got pretty close to that bolt there, but we're at full lock and that's as far as it goes. Turning it the other way, it does come in contact with this little caliper guard here, this CV boot guard. And it kind of bends it up a little bit. I don't know if that's going to affect anything over time. If nothing else, we can just get rid of these. They're not exactly vital. Or they may just stay like that without too much of a problem. Don't typically go full lock on the steering very often, so they may be okay. I'll just keep an eye on that. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the front tire back on. I'm just going to snug these up. I'll wait and torque them down after I get the machine back on the floor. I am not just hammering down with an impact wrench. That's a good way to stretch the threads on the studs and get your lug nut in a bind. I'm going to use my tool here to just get them seated. Alright. And that'll do till I put her on the ground. Let's get another look at the difference between the two at this point. Wow. That is a much needed upgrade. I'm very pleased with how that looks, how that fits. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this side. I'm going to do it in a single cut. I'll play it at probably high speed, fast forward, and no narration. I'm just going to go through the process and just get it done. Alright, so there it is, back on all fours, and as you can see, that is one hell of a difference over the factory arms. That is, man, that is an improvement. That's going to make a lot of difference, especially in the ruts. Also the rocks and roots and everywhere in between. All that's left to do now is torque the lug nuts and grease the pivots, and it'll be ready for a test ride. Also notice the little plastic CV guards mounted on the calipers are no longer going to hit the A-arms when it's turned to full lock on either direction. So those are only going to hit the A-arms when it's at full droop on one side and turn in that direction. So that's really not going to happen very often, so it probably won't be an issue. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Razor's Edge if you would like notifications when the channel is updated. Probably some more how-to videos, and when riding season comes back, we'll be going on more adventures, making more videos, creating memories.